Hi, we're here to talk about NetBackup and in this instance the OpenStorage technology or OST technology. It's been around for a while, but it's key to NetBackup and the whole storage infrastructure. And Derek, you're going to talk us through how this actually works.
Yes, I am. Yeah,
okay,
thanks, Gareth. Yeah. So, as Gareth said, open storage technology is very, very important to us when it comes to how we both internally manage storage and how we handle external partner or third-party partner storage. So, if we didn't have a connector, or if we didn't have some way of our media servers writing to a device and controlling where the image is or what it's doing, then what would end up happening is it would be a one-way write. From our media servers, we would reach out to the clients and we'd pull the data across the network in whatever form we would do, whether it's LAN traffic or WAN traffic. We would pull the data across to a media server, which would busily write the stuff off to a storage device. And if the third-party device did something with that image, like it replicated to another device, or if it copied it, or if it moved it off to tape, and we had no actual interface to find out what the third-party controlling system is doing, we would lose connectivity with the image, meaning the metadata that's being sent back up to the master server to say, your image has been written here and you can recover your important data from here would no longer be true. We would end up with a gap between where the image is, where we could pull it back from, and what the third-party device is doing with it. So there's an absolute necessity for us to release this API out to our partners and allow them to use a development kit that will then control how this information their devices are generating with what they're doing with their images, how it controls sending it back to our master server catalog so we know where our images are. And that's very important on a restore. So third-party devices and our devices are getting very, very complex. There's a lot of things that they can do. Most of them can natively dedupe now. So if you're writing into storage or if you're writing into tape, there are a lot of things that they can do. And in the case of some of our larger partners, not only can they dedupe the images when it's written onto the disk, but they can replicate it for disaster recovery purposes, much like our own appliances. Now, when this happens from one device to the other, this is a hardware-controlled function. This is not a software-controlled, and it's outside of NetBackup's control when it's third-party. So if these images are being written to other sites and other devices, then we need a way to keep that communication and all of the image data back on the master server catalog.
So Derek, that means that the catalog can actually track what's going on with these third parties. So if you replicate something to another machine, you can actually see through that process, and that's all cataloged.
Absolutely. And to control or to better manage these sorts of functions, we have things called storage lifecycle policies, which within NetBackup, we can set up the backup policy to say you're going to pull data from this device, you're going to write it through the media server to another device, whether it's third party or one of our devices. Then you're going to replicate it or you're going to move it to a different site, and this is all in one policy. Then it's finally going to go off to tape, and then it's finally going to expire at some point. But it's all within one policy. So storage lifecycle policies are built around some of the functionality of OST and the features of being able to control the life of your data from where it sits, where we back it up, to where we restore it, to where it's finally going to expire in your network.
So Derek, the deduplication has got a big impact for deduplication because if one of these devices is doing the deduplication, but that's still held in the catalog of the master server.
Absolutely, yeah. Our media server dedupe database will keep track of the fingerprints of all of the data that's being written when it goes to a deduplicated device. In our case, of our appliances, we store it on the appliance. In other cases, when it goes off to third party, there's a different fingerprint database. So it's crucial that we understand where the image is, where the pieces are when we need to reconstitute in a restore operation. And all of that is kept on the master server.
Okay, Derek, that's fantastic. I think that's a very clear coverage of what OST does. And thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.